Hey, it's Carla.
Hey, it's Cesar.
Welcome back to another episode of Carla and Cesar's Modern Life.
Episode 32.
32.
Yep. Back at it again.
How are you feeling this week?
Great. Yeah. It's been a cool week for me. I did a lot of fun stuff. And I did, the radio shows and podcasts that I do. So It's been a good one. What about you?
Nice. Same here. I had a good week. It just felt like it flew by.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's been the whole year because, like,
September already? That's crazy.
that's wild. Yeah. It's like halfway through, more than halfway through.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah, the other day I was catching up on editing, like adding the end screens at the end of our episodes.
Yeah. On YouTube.
Yes, and I realized how far back, like, I fell behind so much. Like, I did not realize that many weeks had passed by.
Yeah, no, time flies. And I can't believe summer's like basically done. I mean, not in terms of like how hot it is, but like how fast it went. But it's all right. I have a lot of things to look forward to this year still. So I'm just excited that it's like I'm getting closer to those things. I was thinking about it the opposite way today too. I was like, oh man, like I saw Kendrick this week and it was so fun. But I was like, man, now I can't look forward to seeing Kendrick. So I was like in that weird thinking today. But then I'm like, well, there's still so much to look forward to for the rest of the year. Like a lot of fun stuff that we're doing. So yeah.
How was Kendrick?
The concert was really good. The show, it was really fun. I did leave early so I could, get merch and stuff, like leave the house early because it was at crypto.com arena. And we left at like 3, me and my friend Jason. And then we didn't get there till like 6:30 because I guess there was a shooting on the freeway and they closed it down. So there was like an hour where they were just funneling everybody on the freeway to one lane in LA, like in the middle of like, at that point, by the time we were in LA, it was like 4:30, 5 o'clock, so rush hour traffic. And it was just bad, but we still got there at a good time, and we got to see the 2 openers and Kendrick. So the first one was Tana Leone, which is an artist signed to PG Lang, and he's all right. It was good. And then Baby Keem was a second opener, and he was really good. And then he didn't do like the songs with Kendrick because during Kendrick's set, like towards the end, they do like all their songs together.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So and then Kendrick, he knows how to weave in between like the newer stuff and the older stuff. So like and it's weird because I really enjoyed the last album, but some people didn't connect with it, but a lot of people in that place did not connect with it.
Really?
Like the songs that are the newer ones, like there was less energy. Like,
oh wow.
And I was like, wow, like they really didn't fuck with this. I mean, I was like, because it was that song Worldwide Steppers, and it was dead quiet, and then he did it, and then he moved on. But he knew, and the set list is the same set list for every show because it's a tour. But like, I think he kind of knew like this might not get the reaction, so he went into like, bitch, don't kill my vibe. I think that's how it went. So it was like, it was a classic, and then he would go into one of the newer songs. But I don't know, man. I enjoyed all the ones that he did, and even the ones that I didn't think I would enjoy. There's some songs that I don't listen to all the way through when I listen to the album, than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But even those were like really good to see live, even better than hearing them on the album.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, Kendrick doesn't disappoint. He, I've seen him every time he's released a project, and it's just like so good. And so that was one thing that I did. That was on Thursday. That was really fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
I wish I could have gone, but I'm glad that you got to go.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks to you because you paid for most of it for my birthday, so I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's because I had agreed to a certain price, and that's the price I was okay paying, but it turned out to be more.
It turned out to be double the price. We were saying like $80.
So I was like, I'll pitch in. Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, and it was a good show. And then the other thing that I did this week, just continuing to do the Saturday night show. I just want to tell people like to check that out because now that we've been able to put it on YouTube, like you don't have to listen live, but it would help if you listen live. Saturdays 8 p.m. on Hits 101 Radio, but I just want to keep doing that because it's really fun.
Yeah.
So check that show out as well.
It's really good.
Yeah. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about your week? So before we move on to the next thing, we just want to let you know to remember to like and share this video if you can. Leave us a comment, and yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, help us out,
Yes,
support
please.
the channel.
Thank you.
All right, so we wanted to get into more of the light side of the Dark Chasers, right?
Yeah, so this week we did chapter 8, Reinterpreting Yourself. This week, well, it's been a couple weeks at this point, but we're just trying to catch up and stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
And I think I do enjoy seeing myself through like these exercises. Each chapter has had like pretty interesting exercises that are pretty much all for the same, trying to get after the same goal.
Yeah.
Of like revealing your shadow to yourself. But I see why they have to try to do so many different types of
approaches to the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying.
Right? Because I feel like your ego is really like, like doesn't want to really like go away. Mm-hmm. So it's going to do things to try to like trick you to not see things or like to like, like self-sabotage or whatnot.
Yeah, like there's still some stuff you don't want to accept by doing these different exercises, which are essentially different ways of doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to get to that part that keeps bothering. Like
one way or the other.
One way or the other, you're going to deal with that issue.
Right. Yeah, so I really like that they do this. Mm-hmm. For this chapter, one of the exercises was actually not one that was like an assigned one, but it was one that she had assigned to a client of hers, where I thought it was pretty interesting. It's if you have like an issue with somebody, you can write their name at the top of a page and then fold it in half. On one side, you write what you don't like about this person and then what you do like about this person. And then the last step is you say it out loud. I like myself when, and then you go down the list of the traits that you like about them. Mm-hmm. And then you go down the list and you say, I don't like myself when. And that's supposed to reveal to you like, oh, this is what triggers me about them. You know what I mean? I see. Yeah. So I thought that was interesting.
Did you do the exercise yourself for that one?
No, because I really couldn't think of anybody. Like, I think that the person that has come up for me, like I've already like processed it.
Yeah.
In a different chapter. So it's like I could do it, but it's like I'm not gonna sit down and like write it. Or maybe I could, because you never know what might come up.
That's true. Yeah, because I try to think of it like it would be hard for me to even find somebody that like I would like really dislike to the point where I want to do an exercise of that.
Right. Yeah.
Because you view people a certain way, and then you realize like it's not worth like hating somebody over something or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So sorry,
but for the sake of like potentially revealing something, then like I think it's worth a shot.
That's true. Just finding
have it in
the right person.
Like a tool in the back of your like something you can you can do in the future.
Yeah.
A tool. Like the episode of Atlanta. And then the actual exercise for the end of the chapter was so basically get into a relaxed environment, close your eyes and meditate on, and then she has a list of questions. So the questions are, or the prompts are, what are the core beliefs that are running my life? So you basically repeat that over and over, or however many times you need to, until you get those answers, and then journal about it, and then come back into your meditative state. And the other questions are, is this my own idea or did I adopt it? Why do I have this belief? Does this belief empower me? What would I have to give up to alter this belief? And so do that for each of them. And then I feel like this one was cool. I did this one and I liked it a lot. I feel like I actually wrote a lot for these. I just typed it. I feel like handwriting it, like I would like to, but I feel like it's just, I don't really have like the time for it. But I feel like typing still.
Yeah, you're still getting the idea out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know if there's like a quick one I can share because I feel like I wrote so much for all of them. But you're also supposed to, at the end of, so you do all those and then you write a thank you letter to the belief. And because all it is like something you learned to keep yourself safe when you were a kid, basically. Yeah. So you say thank you and then you say like, I no longer need you. And then this is my new belief.
I see.
So I recommend this one. This one was worth it.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's more about like rebuilding it. Like you said, reinterpreting. That's the point of it. But it's also like here, now you're building towards creating new beliefs. And that's where the progress, now you're becoming that new person by reinterpreting these things. That's cool.
And in another book, there was an exercise where this is from Women Who Run with the Wolves. And you're supposed to write down like in your past, like basically look back at times that you still have like some sort of feeling attached towards and write it down. And then like basically same thing, try to find why that happened and like what you were meant to learn from it. And then like, bless it and acknowledge it. And now that it's been acknowledged, then it can like be at peace, basically. You can be at peace with it.
Yeah.
So I thought that would be another good way to do this. It's kind of similar along those lines.
Yeah, it's a very similar idea.
So yeah, that was this week. I think it'll take me a little while. I want to keep processing those for a little longer and then move on to the next.
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, and I'll definitely be catching up and doing this myself as well.
Good, yeah.
Yeah, it's just about, because it is like you said, it's different ways of getting at the same thing, but at the end you're building something new. So that's the point.
Yeah, it's self-care, self-love, and like we all need more of that, no matter who we are, who it is,
So speaking of self-love, are we ready to go into the scenarios?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. So the first one is actually something that somebody told me, and I'm going to keep it anonymous. It is kind of a who's the jerk, but like we said on this show, it's always about like helping people out. So it's more like an advice question. And we'll say this is about my friend whose name is Jack, even though his name's not Jack. But I just needed a name because this is going to get confusing if I did it.
Right.
So Jack is married to a woman, and she has kids from a different marriage. And now these three girls, or I think there's three of them, they are under his care now because they recently got married. And they have a great relationship so far. But the only thing is that the girls are a little bit overweight and they get teased for it at school. And they tell their new stepdad, Jack, like, hey, man, like they're making fun of me. Like, I want to lose weight just because I also want to be healthy. And so he's like, okay, like I want to support you. Like I'm going to start cooking healthier. But and even his wife, Jack's wife, is their mom is like in agreement with this. But the rest of the family, like the wife's sisters and like brothers and the grandparents, they don't care at all about this. And sometimes they're taking care of the girls and they're making them like eat like fast food all the time.
Oh, I see.
And so and then they're giving Jack crap because they're like, well, why don't you just give them what they want? Like you're making them eat this stuff, they don't even want it. And it's like, how can he like help his stepdaughters and still, like. But
I thought the stepdaughters wanted to lose weight.
Yes, yeah. So it's like a little bit of like two of them want to, and then some of them, like one of them doesn't, and so there's some resistance there, and then sometimes they're all like, yeah, you're right, like we don't want to eat this, like.
Like they go back and forth.
Yeah,
I see.
And so he's only trying to help, but at the same time, it's also like, how much can you do if you're not getting the support from the rest of the family?
Yeah, I feel like that goes to show you like how addictive like food like this is. It's like just so good, and it's like so easy to just be like, oh well, I'm at my aunt's house, like what's one meal gonna do, or
Yeah.
So I would say like I would try to stay strong and keep. Oh, that's all you can do is like just do what you can, and then like give them the option.
Yeah.
And if they want to go eat fast food at their families, like that's also a choice. But like educate them on like, when you make this choice, you're choosing this sort of life for yourself. And when you choose this option, this is the type of life that you're choosing for yourself.
Yeah.
And like learn to see it that way. Because I feel like, how do you explain it to a child?
Yeah.
You know?
Because that's when when they're young, like even like early, like late, like 10, 11, like early teens, like even at that point, they're probably already instilled in eating a certain way, but it's a good opportunity to, now that they're aware of how it affects their body at that point, to like say like, okay, like now we can start doing healthier habits. But it's hard because I mean, I never had that. And like, I can't really blame my parents for not providing that because they were doing so much everything else. Like, it's hard. So
Yeah.
it's hard to break that cycle even for myself, I still eat a lot of fast food. So I mean, I would say in this case, I would have asked the wife for help to talk to her family, because if it's something the girls want too, then it's like, hey, like, like we should all work together because they're not happy with who they in themselves, like because of what's going on at school. But it's hard because it's like, how do you, I don't know, like it's hard to be a parent and with all that pressure of like the relatives too, because it does, because you want the family's help at the same time, like obviously, because it's not easy to take care of a kid, but
yeah, totally,
conflicting beliefs can get complicated.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you know what they did?
No, this is, I mean, hopefully they take our advice on this, and like I said, just try to have a conversation with the family, like, hey, I'm not trying to be a jerk, like I just want them to be healthy and they want that too, like I'm not trying to force it,
Yeah,
and hopefully I think communication can help, I guess.
totally.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're doing a good thing, Jack, so you mean well. I mean, I don't know, I feel like you mean well, and like you're not doing anything wrong, but yeah, maybe asking for support.
Yeah, because it's like you can eat healthy and you can try to push that, but if there's resistance, then everybody needs to be on the same page.
Yeah. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you for submitting. And if you have your own, you can hit us up in the DMs at I am Cesar Rod, or what's your Instagram?
Carlella Rod 89.
Yep. Or you can send us a message. I think the email is advice@carlaandcaesar.com. Advice@carlaandcaesar.com. Carla with a C. So let's move on to a who is the jerk scenario here. Should I start?
Sure.
So my sister-in-law, Amy, always comes to visit from out of town. She stays with us instead of a hotel and always wants to go to expensive restaurants. She always conveniently forgets her wallet or comes up with some excuse as to why she can't pay her share. She has implied that since I make much more money than her, I should be the one to pay. No, not my husband pay, but me specifically. I do make a fair amount of money, but not so much that I can treat someone every time they come into town. Nonetheless, in the past, I have just paid the bill and asked her to pay me back. She never has. She made a reservation at an extremely expensive restaurant last night, and before we left, I made it clear that I wouldn't be paying for her.
This is where I might be the asshole. And I'll admit I got this move straight from an episode of 2.5 Men. As we were leaving, her and my husband went to the car. I pretended I forgot something and went back inside. I found her wallet sitting right on top of her suitcase. I put it in my purse and we went to the restaurant. When we were done eating, I asked for separate bills. She said, no, we need one bill because I forgot my wallet again. I reached in my purse and said, oh, this wallet? She was extremely furious. She said that I should not have touched or grabbed her wallet. So am I the asshole for taking her wallet and bringing it to the restaurant?
Damn, that's a crazy one. I just feel like maybe she should have like grabbed the wallet and then when she got back to the car, be like, "Oh, you forgot your wallet."
Yeah, that's true.
Then the move, then she can't be like, "Well, I'm gonna go put it back,"
Right.
Be like, "Hey, I forgot this, but I saw your wallet." Don't like pull it and be like, "This wallet."
Set her up.
Set her up.
Yeah, because I mean, she should be paying for her own food because they're like the same age, basically, 28 and 26.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you expect someone who's like your contemporary to pay for you all the time when it's like,
Yeah, like I get it sometimes, and like it's like about returning the favor, and like sometimes paying for somebody or sometimes they pay for you, but
Yeah.
Just I've never had the
Who
balls.
expects it?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
to be like, you make more money than me, so you just have to pay. Like,
Right.
what?
That's weird. That's like such a weird thing to do.
Maybe like maybe
To anybody.
would it be weird if she was saying it to her brother? Even that would be weird, right? Maybe there's a little more familiarity there, but the fact that she's like, you're my,
You just happen to make more money, so you have to pay for it. That's like, you don't get to tell people what to do with their money. Like, that's really weird. And
so Amy's an asshole all the time.
Yeah.
And this move was, misguided to do the wallet thing. But I mean, I can't blame you for doing it. Like, I don't think you're an asshole. I think you should have just been like, oh, you forgot your wallet,
Right. That was funny. I mean, she's probably so fed up. She was like waiting. She was like, couldn't wait the entire dinner.
I'm gonna get her.
So
yeah, not
maybe a tiny bit, but not really.
Yeah, Amy sucks.
Yeah. Oh, and then do you want to read the edit?
Oh yeah, so then there's an edit that was added after the post got some attention. Amy just called me. She saw this post and yelled at me for bad-mouthing her on the internet. Honestly, I don't care. Amy, hopefully you're reading all these comments is a wake-up call for you.
And basically the comments were like, no, like, you're not the jerk, basically.
Yeah, Amy sucks.
Yeah. That's funny.
Ready for the last one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to start.
Sure. Am I the asshole for telling the new neighbors that they got what they paid for, including being shunned by the neighborhood?
Oh, shit.
Where I live, real estate developers have started snatching up family homes, bulldozing them, and building enormous $2 million houses on the plots of land. The houses also stick out horribly in terms of aesthetics. Think single-level brick homes with a 3-level gigantic white and black box in the middle. My home's been in my family for several generations. We have always been known for having a large, beautiful garden. We invited over kids to help with gardening. We gave away so many veggies. We'd hold parties, etc. It's been a neighborhood treasure for years, until developers snatched up the lot next door, bulldozed and erected an enormous house that blocked out the light to most of the garden. Many of us tried to fight it with the city, but everything was denied. It was heartbreaking. Our neighborhood has been changed forever. This was a link to my family, and I almost have had to go through a grieving process for it. The new owners moved in and were not welcomed warmly by the people in the neighborhood. I avoided them for as long as I could, other than politely waving or nodding. It was a young couple in their early 20s.
We finally came face to face, and the woman asked if we could chat. She said they felt like maybe they've done something wrong when they moved in, or if they aren't pulling in their trash bins or something being too loud, etc., because people weren't being very friendly. The guy says that he's surprised considering it felt like a nice and somewhat affluent neighborhood, and given the price, he was expecting friendly neighbors. I asked if they had done any research about the area. They said they had moved from California, so no. I asked them that maybe that was their mistake, ? They said they didn't know what I meant, so I asked if they ever looked in our backyard. They said yes, and said they think the garden is cute. I said yes, the garden that now has about half less light than before that house was built was a neighborhood treasure. The guy said, well, it's not our fault. You built the garden there, is it? I said, well, you guys got what you paid for. $2 million for a house that everyone in the neighborhood hates. I said, I hoped it was worth it and wish them a nice day. When I told another neighbor about the exchange, she told me that she does feel bad for them moving without having any idea of what they were getting themselves into. Am I the asshole for telling them they got what they paid for? Oh my God.
Dang. I mean, I get why you're upset, but they didn't know.
They didn't know. I mean,
if anything, they should be mad at the developers, like the people who built it, not.
Yeah, like you didn't have to be a jerk to the couple.
Yeah, like.
I was ready to roast this guy for being so sensitive about his garden. I don't even know if it's a guy. This person were like, oh, I had to go through a grieving process. And they were still bitter about it. But I get it.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah, because it was in their family for generations.
Yeah.
So, like I don't think that they're exaggerating that it was a neighborhood treasure. Yeah. I believe it. But
you can't blame the neighbors. Like they saw a nice house in a nice neighborhood. Mm-hmm. Like maybe part of it could have been the fact that they saw your garden too, and they were like, nice, I want to move into that neighborhood. So what can you do? Like you can't blame them for wanting to live in a nice house.
Yeah.
And it's like research. Like what kind of research you can't look online and be like, Like, what are you gonna live?
What app or website tells you this neighborhood will hate you if you move into this house?
Yeah, that was weird. So I think this guy is an asshole. This person that wrote this is an asshole.
Yeah, I think so too.
For being so mean to people that had no idea what they were even getting themselves into.
Yeah, but maybe now that it's out in the air, it's out in the open, they can address it and then hopefully, what's the word? Smooth it out.
Yeah, but I mean, what is gonna help them? What's gonna help this person that wrote this? Like get over the fact that their garden is half the size now. Like, he already hates them for doing something they didn't even do. So
right. Yeah, what can they do?
Yeah, I just don't. That's why I was like, I just don't see this working out well because it's like the guy is already mad about his garden because the house exists. So it's like no matter who lives there, they're going to be resentment for the fact that people live there instead of, the light coming to the house. It's a garden.
Maybe they can rent out their roof.
Oh, and then put the garden there. There we go.
And then they can both be part of it.
There you go. Happy ending right there.
Just ask me.
Just ask me.
I got solutions.
So that was it. That was our 3 scenarios for this week. Thank you guys for watching. You can follow me at I am Cesar Rod. Where can they follow you?
Carlella Rod 89 on Instagram.
Nice. And then my other show at The Rodriguez Show on Instagram. At I am Cesar Rod once again, because that's where you can hit me up to produce your podcast. It's Cesar Rod podcast and video on Instagram. I can do like simple audio podcasts, video podcasts, live streams, whatever you can think of. I can make it happen. If you're in Southern California, we can do it in person. And if you're not, you can just send me the files and I can do it at home. So yeah, it's a thing. I do it.
He does it. If you ever wanted to start your own podcast, just do it. Like if it calls for you, it's for a reason. Just reach out. You can also ask me plant questions if you have a question about your plants or you, I don't know, just want to talk about plants. Send me a DM on my plant page, Plant Parenthood OC.
Nice.
On Instagram.
Great. And that's it for this week, guys. Remember to take care of yourselves and each other.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.